A local tech school opened a new resource for students this week. As Kevin Miller reports, it will help fill their bodies and their minds.
On any college campus, there's a hunger for knowledge. Less obvious is a hunger that comes from a lack of access to food.
We talk a lot about how, as a college student, you subsist off of ramen, and that was a normal thing. But if you think about it for more than a couple of seconds, it's actually indicative of a big systemic problem.
There's a surprising number of students at Hennepin Technical College that struggle to get food.
Anywhere between 25 and 46% of our students are what we would consider food insecure. So that's a student that has been challenged or was not quite sure where their next meal was going to come from within the last 90 days.
To try and help keep bellies full, the college opened a food pantry on Monday.
I feel great. I feel like the more people that come in, the better.
Anna Ryman is a student worker in the pantry. She says it's fully stocked with fresh produce, meats, and other staples.
We have a lot of fruits and vegetables. We have apples and acorn squash. We have oatmeal.
The pantry is open to anyone on campus.
You have such community to support you here.
Student Senate President Emmanuel Bawaji says it's important to offer a daily food source.
This is stable, and we have supplies every other week now, and students can just walk right in and get what they need.
It's part of a larger effort to make sure students have their basic needs met. Next to the pantry is the student resource room. It's got shoes, coats, and clothes for the taking.
Sometimes when you are new to school, you forget that oops, I actually need to have a really great winter coat to get to and from campus. And then we also get a lot of donations from our local community services.
The goal is to make sure every student can keep their mind off their food and on their classes.
About half of students that would be hungry while they're here in school might actually finish their degrees. So although this seems a little outside of our box, it actually helps our students get to that finish line, get those degrees.
In Brooklyn Park, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
The food in Hennepin Tech's pantry comes from local nonprofits, including Second Harvest Heartland and Good in the Hood. Brooklyn Park police are investigating the death of a man who died over the weekend of an apparent gunshot wound. Details are limited, but what we do know is Brooklyn Park police were called to a shooting early Saturday morning at a home in the 7900 block of Lee Avenue North. When officers arrived, they found the man and began performing life-saving measures. He was ultimately pronounced dead at the scene. Police arrested 2 suspects in connection to the shooting. Jail records show a 20-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman are being held for probable cause murder. Brooklyn Park police detectives and Hennepin County crime scene investigators are working the case. Meanwhile, Brooklyn Park arrested a suspect accused of stabbing a man at a convenience store Sunday morning. Police were called to the store in the 7400 block of Regent Avenue. Officers arrived and found a man with a stab wound to his neck. He was rushed to North Memorial Health Hospital. Police then spotted a suspect who had fled to the nearby Huntington Place apartments. Brooklyn Park arrested the man after surrounding his apartment. No word on the condition of the victim, though he is expected to survive. In Golden Valley, do not enter signs are up around an area of Bassett Creek impacted by a sewage spill. An estimated 1,000 gallons of wastewater was released into Bassett Creek Friday morning. The spill was discovered near the creek's intersection with Pennsylvania Avenue. Crews from the Met Council Environmental Services Division contained the spill with help from the city of Golden Valley. The spill was caused by an equipment malfunction during maintenance work. Testing will continue to take place at the creek site until there's no significant traces of disease-causing bacteria or viruses. In Crystal, dozens of people gathered to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day on Dakota homeland.
I wanted to welcome you to Chachawakbadang, which is also known as Falls Creek, and back in the day when I lived here was known, it's also known as Bassett Creek.
That's award-winning author Diane Wilson who greeted the crowd. She shared the symbolism of water and its importance to Native Americans. Wilson says think of water not as something around us, but something within us.
Our bodies are actually 60% water, and without Mini, we could not survive. So that when we protect water, we are actually water protecting herself.
I think it's just really great to hear the Dakota perspective as we're on Dakota homeland and to think about water in a new way.
Money is the Dakota word for water. Today's event included a water blessing, which we could not record with our cameras because it's considered sacred. Perpich Arts High School students got a look at their future during class Monday. It was Portfolio Day, a chance for students to share their art with art colleges around the country. Studio Arts Chair Catherine D'Elia says this is a good time of year for students to think about the future.
It's a very important kind of stressful time for our seniors while they try to figure out what they want to do with their futures. Big decisions to make. In this way, they have a lot of opportunities kind of presented to them so they can make choices.
During the event, Perpich students practice interview skills, show their work to experts, and get feedback. Perpich senior Zero Yant is one of those students. He primarily does art with Indian ink.
I've been making a lot of portraits recently, and I do a lot of birds. I like drawing a lot of birds.
He hopes to go to art school in Milwaukee or Minneapolis. This opportunity is a chance for Zero and other students like him to get their work in front of these selective schools.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including full sporting events and daily newscasts. To find us, go to the store, search CCX, and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Roku. The Maple Grove and Champlin Park girls soccer teams met back on September 19th with the Crimson winning 1-0. They faced off again with a trip to the Section 5 3A final on the line. And Ches Moots has the highlights.
Maple Grove trying to earn their 10th trip to a section final in 11 years. The Rebels, winners of 3 in a row, coming into their game against MG. 20 minutes in, no score. Jessica Lee chips it up ahead. Kiera Gill tracks it down. Champlin Park's goalkeeper, Caitlin Krengle, comes out of the goal trying to make a play. Gill pokes it away and then centers it back to the box. Krengle gets a hand on it, but Lee gets back in the play and makes a play. Goal for the Crimson. They take the early lead over the Rebels. 10 minutes later, CP with a free kick near midfield. Riley Sissenbath, good hit with the wind to her back. Ball gets popped up. Ainsley Krebsbach times it up and gets the equalizer on the header. Big goal for the Rebels to tie it up at 1. That was the score at halftime. Second half, 50th minute, corner for MG. Riley Lloyd boots it. Looks like a good goal for the Crimson, but Ivy Reichel kicks it out at the last second. But not even a minute later, the Crimson come up gold. It's Lee again getting behind the Rebels defense and putting the ball past Krengle for the go-ahead score with 29 minutes left on the clock. The Crimson hold on to defeat the Rebels 2-1. They'll host Spring Lake Park in the Section 5 3A final. In Maple Grove, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
The Totino-Grace football team has answered every challenge so far this season. The Eagles look to stay unbeaten as they faced another very good team in a top 10 matchup in Class 4A. Jay Wilcox has the highlights.
Senior night as number 2 Totino-Grace hosts number 3 Orono in a big Class 4A football clash. Orono's first drive is a good one. Charlie Cordes rolls right and hits Carson Burkhart for the touchdown. A 2-point conversion makes it 8-0 Spartans early. Plenty of good defense in this one. Grace's Theo Thomas gets through to sack Cordes for a big loss here. End of the first half and Jimmy McNeil comes up big for the Eagles, booming a 39-yard field goal that turns out to be an important 3 points. Orono leads Grace 8-3 at the half. Same score late and one last drive for Grace. Jake Person completes it to Markel Keaton for a key 4th down conversion inside Orono's 10. A great play call here. Keaton on the sweep, and he pulls up to throw to a wide-open Griffin Burgess for the go-ahead touchdown with 39 seconds left. Orono has one last chance, but the Cordes heave is picked off by Jaden Miller in the end zone. Totino-Grace is 7-0 after a thrilling 11-8 win over Orono. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Benilde-St. Margaret's football team is looking to get back to a 500 record before the start of next week's section playoffs. The first step for the Red Knights was their final road game of the regular season. A beautiful night for football at Delano for the Tigers' homecoming game against the Red Knights. First quarter, and BSM quarterback Lucas Guggenberger drops a perfect pass into the arms of TJ Stutley in the end zone for a 28-yard touchdown. The Red Knights lead 7-0 after a quarter. Second quarter, the handoff to Delano running back Davin Clare, and he runs it all the way down to the BSM 2-yard line. Clare would score 2 plays later. The Tigers missed the extra point, though, and it's 7-6. The Red Knights looking for more points late in the second quarter, but Guggenberger's pass intended for Max Koss is intercepted in the end zone by Grant Brewitt. It remains 7-6, and that's the score at halftime. Late third quarter now. Clare gets the call again near the end zone and runs it in from 2 yards out. Delano takes a 13-7 lead into the fourth quarter. But the Red Knights answer in the fourth. Guggenberger with a pass down the sideline to Kobe Willis, who gets his left foot down inbounds as he secures the catch. And that sets up BSM deep in Tigers territory. A few plays later, the handoff goes to Javion Kellogg, and he runs it in from 2 yards out. The Red Knights make the extra point, and that's the difference in the game. BSM improves to 3-4 in the season with a 14-13 win. In Delano, John Jacobson, CCX Sports.